Hey, Johnny, if you create 400 or so more fake accounts, you can get us to that 500.
That's my new goal.
I encourage you, if you can get over to Dollywood at some point, do it.
I'll add it to the list for sure.
Just let us know if you ever want to come, because we have the season passes. We probably don't have any bring a friend passes left because we usually use all those. But
I guess, Johnny, you're not a friend then.
Yeah, I got friend.
Well,
I'll be an honorary child next year. So next year,
Daddy, can we get some ice cream?
Johnny's gone dark while we.
Thanks, Johnny.
I'm still here. I just figured this would help things from breaking up.
Plans?
Am I breaking up, or are you guys breaking up?
Well, I have now become a dot on the screen. Johnny, this is the part of the.
This is the Knoxville portion of the show.
Yeah, this is the Knoxville portion of the show. Look, I'm glowing because every now and then the light's going woo.
We still gotta get to. I kind of assume Samantha. And might have to edit this. I don't want to sound like I don't remember their name. Yeah, why am I going blank on Molly, Samantha, and
Libby?
Libby, golly. Yeah, don't put that
We're
in.
sorry, Libby. So this is on the
No, here, let me just redo that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Finder Slippers Resell Podcast, episode number 28. Johnny, how you doing, my friend?
What is going on, buddy? Where is our third? Where's our roommate?
He may be lost out on the road somewhere. I'm not exactly sure.
He's still driving in. Well, I know he's coming. He promised us he'd be here. I know he was busy today, but we wanted to take a moment and just give a shout out to all of our subscribers and everybody tuning in today. Lots of exciting things, Wes, going on in the Finder Flipper world.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. I'm loving every minute of it. Our views are going up. Our subscribers are coming in to us. So it's
trending
a good time.
In the right direction.
Yes, sir. It is a very, very good time to be on the Finder Slippers Resell podcast. So how's your week been so far?
Busy, man. Busy. We were in Florida last weekend. We got in Monday night, and I'm technically on vacation from the 9 to 5, but this reselling stuff is more work than any 9 to 5 I've ever had.
Well, I hope you enjoy your vacation. What part of Florida did you go to?
We went to Sarasota.
Okay. All right. Well, Stewart says he is backstage, but I don't see him on the screen here. He just got his moniker there. So let's try to bring him in.
There you go. Oh, look at this guy.
Wow.
I'm channeling my inner Johnny today.
I like it. It. You look very relaxed.
Yeah. Very refreshed after a 5 or 6 day trip with your daughter, Stewart.
You know, and I think a lot of this came from watching the Olympic breaking events and just kind of channeling my inner B-boy here.
Well, we've got a lot going on in this little picture here. I've got my virtual picture behind me, and Stewart does not have the Franklin Hill Ventures. And Johnny, you look like you have been to Florida.
I'm in the tropics.
I mean, everybody is refreshed here this evening, bouncing around. I like it.
Did you notice what I got behind me here, Wes?
Yeah. I wasn't going to mention it, but since you brought it up, you just go right ahead and bring it to the forefront. That's fine.
By the way, Rosie pulled us to number 1. She's our number 1 ranked video to this point ever.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. It needed a woman's touch.
Well, whatever it takes to get us there. So we do appreciate Rosie.
I think she skewed us younger. We probably, if we look at the stats, we're probably like the 18 to 25-year-olds. I bet we're really hot this week.
So is that what you're trying to do, is channel a Johnny and look like him, try to look more younger? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, this is how all the young kids like Johnny dress. So I thought, hey, I would give it a try.
Do we have to start using middle school lingo?
Dude,
is it all just like skibbity riz?
Snippety Riz. I don't know middle school lingo anymore. You don't want to hear my middle school lingo 50 years ago.
Stewart, you look like you're ready to take on breakdancing in the Olympics.
You know, if that Australian girl can do it, I think I can too.
What animal would you choose to breakdance like?
You know, I think she did waves and then a dolphin, didn't she? Right? I would have to come up with the mountains and maybe a bear.
Yeah, I thought she was doing like a kangaroo.
Or a kangaroo, that's what it was.
I didn't watch it, so
maybe I would.
Not a clue.
We have a lot of skunks and possums around here. So I could just play dad like a possum. Can't believe you missed the breaking, Wes. I literally watched it.
No. Let me be clear. I missed the entire Olympics.
Okay.
I just didn't watch it.
Well, I watched the breaking and I felt like I was watching like one of my high school dances. So.
Well, Wes, I didn't watch it either, but it's just all over the socials. But I will tell you that breakdancing went so well that it is not in the 2028 Olympics.
Really?
That's how well it went.
It's already been canned, huh?
Yes. So it is official that the Finders Flippers Resell podcast has lasted longer than breakdancing in the Olympics.
We have done it. That was our
congratulations, boys.
Wow.
Did you see what sport they are bringing? They're bringing flag football. So maybe if the three of us found two more people and started training, we could Los Angeles 2028.
There we go.
Flag football.
Well, now that is actually becoming a thing in high school as well. It is vetted for high school girls now to play flag football. And I haven't asked if I want to officiate it or not.
So. Have you seen those like guardian caps those guys are wearing now?
What are they?
Like the guardian caps in the NFL now?
Oh, the things that go over the helmet?
Yeah, it's all like it's going to be flag football at some point anyways.
Well, I know especially for younger kids, a lot of, they are, I think they're pushing flag football for younger kids just so you don't start getting the hitting, all the headshots and everything at such a young age. Although I know that my son played flag football one year, and it was a bunch of 9-year-olds running around with no pads trying to pull flags. I mean, there was a lot more contact than I think. Yeah. When they're that young playing tackle football, I mean, it's literally they can barely run with all their pads on. It's kind of like watching slow motion football. But
oh, Johnny, you can't see behind me. Let me move out of the way. Look.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that looks real good. Is it currently up for sale, or have you decided
not
to?
Yet? It is not yet. It's still sitting in my thing to keep because it is just really cool. I like it a whole lot. So it's the centerpiece of my picture tonight. Of course, I'm in front of it, but
So we officially are the Finders Keepers Don't Resell podcast.
Finders kind of keeping, kind of flipping. It just, I'm in this too for things I want as well. So I'm sure you all bought things. You're like, you know what? Kind of like the marriage certificate back there that he's got. But I'm going to let that go now since he's got it on full display. At least I can see it now.
Well, you know what? He's got it hung nice and straight. It looks good.
Oh. Well, if you turn your head like this,
maybe it's straight and I'm crooked.
Possibility. So, Stewart, you rolled on in. You got on into town. I have to say, Stewart, without the glasses, you dropped some years off of you, my friend.
Well, I got a haircut too, so
yeah.
Not looking quite so shaggy.
Well, very neat.
The West Coast did you well.
Yeah, headed out tomorrow for the reseller thing in Gatlinburg, so we'll see how that goes. I'll try to, depending on who's there, maybe we can grab somebody and I'll text y'all and maybe we can do an impromptu episode or something, depending on, we'll just see what happens. So,
well,
I know I'm riding up tomorrow. Amy can't come till Friday, so I'm going to go tomorrow and Joe and Nicole from I'd Flip That are picking me up. So they have a YouTube channel, so check them out.
Okay.
Yeah, and theirs is awesome. They do really cool like trivia and stuff like that, game shows.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So
Didn't they say they may have us on at some point?
Yeah, but they said I couldn't be on it.
Are you old enough?
I'm not tall enough.
You're not tall enough for this ride. How tall are you, Johnny?
5'10".
Really?
Average male height.
Yeah, I've got you. I'm 5'10" and a half. So.
Oh yeah, no.
Wow.
Oh, I'm 5'10" and 3/4. I forgot.
You probably got me with the hair though, Johnny. So the hair probably has a little.
Well, Johnny, the closest thing that I could get to Buffalo, New York, or wherever you're going to, I'm sorry, Niagara Falls, was this. So I went ahead and I repped this today for you.
Appreciated.
Since I didn't get a yard sale sign, or not a yard sale sign, but a one of your acronym signs.
Didn't you buy that? Didn't you buy that at a garage sale?
I did.
Okay, yeah. So you don't resell at all then.
Well, again, this is too cool. Remember though, I did sell the I Love New York mug. Remember for $1.65.
It's true.
No, some of these things, there is a couple things behind my ears here that are already gone. So somewhere in here, these things are moving. So yeah.
I did find this T-shirt the other day at a thrift shop, which I thought was pretty cool. The Body Farm, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, Johnny. Here over at UT Medical Center, this Dr. Bill Bass, he's like the foremost forensic anthropologist in the country. They have the Body Farm over there where they just basically lay bodies out and study, decomposition and all that stuff. So
yeah, people donate their bodies to science.
I thought with the graphics and Halloween coming up, that might sell. Older.
Is that the guy that used to be on those like HBO shows?
He's been on several. He's wrote several books, but he has bodies all around back behind UT Hospital in different forms of decay. Like he'll half bury some of them, and some of them sticking out. They'll be in cars. Just all kinds of different scenarios. That way, when forensic people come and study, they'll know what to look for when they're on the actual scene.
That's actually a brilliant way to get away with murder.
Yeah.
I'm just doing science research.
If you want to help future generations, they accept donations too, Johnny. So when you're gone, you can donate your body to the Body Farm.
It'll be out there for a couple of years, Johnny, and then they'll end up cremating you. So.
Well, I just want to make sure that in case at some point they can dig us all up and turn us back into robots, that I'm as available as possible for that. So
they can just take your head off and then they'll stick them. My name is Johnny.
I feel like 3,500. Like I'm gonna come back as a robot. So just use me before I'm dust.
Well, if you were dust, they could reform you.
Oh,
Re-pour you into a form, make you like a leg or something.
I'm going to have to make my will very specific.
Wasn't it Ted Williams? They cut his head off and froze it or something like that.
That's what they say. He's frozen.
Frozen in time.
What's been going on from a reselling standpoint? Y'all been selling anything?
I'm having good little sales every day so far. Yeah. I mean, every day I'm picking up, 4, 5, or 6 here and there. So I'll take it. So
what kind of stuff you selling, Wes?
We had a couple board games that we sold, and I've rolled out several hats. And this past weekend, I picked up a ping golf cover for a club. I paid $1 for it, and I sold that thing for $16 yesterday.
Oh wow, good,
so,
nice.
Anytime ping is a bolo. Anytime you see ping, those are grab them.
So what board games did you sell?
My wife, she sold a Twister game, and she sold some Monopoly games. She does a lot of those board game things. That's not so much me per se, but she had one. I think it was like Boggle. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Boggle?
Yeah.
But yeah, she rolls those games pretty quick.
Were they like themed Monopoly?
No, just straight Monopoly they were older. Like I think one of them was from the 60s. She had her 70s. So it was, and then I sold a Monopoly that my mother had when she was a young girl back in the 50s. And it was just the box is, about yay big. It's not the big long thing, but the board was folded up different. But yeah, I sold that one last week. Basically, a lot of mine are the hats. I keep selling hats every single day. So I'm like you, Johnny. It goes good for you.
Yeah.
Hats are just a thing, if you have the right content on it. A lot of mine too are golf hats.
Okay.
I've got some on there for sale right now. Different golf courses like St. Andrews. I found a couple of those from a guy at an estate sale. So those are really, really good lookouts for if you can find the right content on your golf hats.
Start looking for those. I mean, I occasionally will sell hats, but I don't find a lot of them, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, give them a look, and especially if you can get them for $1. Yeah, you can turn right around and make $10-15 out of them easily.
Yeah, we source a lot of them from the bins, so we pay like 40 cents a piece for them, and we've sold quite a few. I actually started selling on District this week under Commons, and have sold a couple hat bundles on there.
It's District. I don't know anything about District. Can you give us a little bit more about it?
So District is just another like online selling platform. I think like the Trash to Cash guys have their own like page on it. Well, Kevin Commonwealth Picker started basically like a reseller channel in there called Commons, and it's more for like wholesaling stuff out. So I put 2 hat lots together this week, and they both sold. And the one we made like $60 on, and the other one we made $40 on. I did a 28 hat lot of just golf hats. So like you were talking about, Wes, like Ping, and a couple other ones. I had a St. Andrews strap in there. Yep, all those. So we sold those, and then I did another lot. And when I'm selling these hat lots, I'm trying to make them all like a niche, like all the same, and not just like here's 20 random hats. So I had 21 camo hats. They were like just different companies, or some were vintage or whatever. And we sold that on there too, because I mean, we're getting them for like I said, 40 cents a piece. And then through District, we sold them for like $3 a piece. Fees are only like 8%. So, making $2 a hat.
Yeah.
Just turn and burn them.
Yeah. And you said that's the Commons Marketplace on District, Johnny?
Yep.
I'll have to look at that. Yeah, I sell on the Knickknacks Marketplace on District, which was Crazy Lamp Ladies, the one who started that. But yeah, you can think of District West. It's kind of like a shopping mall, and then anybody can open their own marketplace in there and sign up sellers. I mean, like if I were to go create my own marketplace, I probably wouldn't attract enough people to to make it viable. But like the big people like Crazy Lamp Lady, Kevin, Commonwealth Picker, but there's a ton of different platforms out there. I think Knickknacks is the biggest one right now. If you look at.
So what did you sell under, Johnny? What was it you sold under?
Commons.
Yeah, your Frizzy's Finds on there, right? But under the Commons Marketplace.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check that one out, because I occasionally have like bulk lots of stuff I could put together and see.
Yeah. So his goal, I guess, with this channel or marketplace, whatever you want to call it, is more of, like I said, wholesale. So he wants lots of 15 or more, but you've really got to, it's not so much for you to try to get top dollar or try to get close to eBay dollar. Like, these golf hats that I sold, they're $20, $25 hats that I sold for $3, but I can just move them. And since we get them from the bins, we can get them, like I can replenish that easily.
Well, it's like Stewart was talking about his money piles, things that are sitting there and you just been sitting on them, you could lot them up and move them. It sounds like pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we sold, like I said, 2 this week. We made, I think it was $99.09 after fees, costs of goods, everything. So $100. And honestly, the last month or two of Whatnot, that's what we were taking home. After Whatnot became really, really saturated, like we were making $100 a show. So it's almost kind of taking that place for the hat market.
Yeah, I was going to say Whatnot's basically turned into that, except instead of selling 20 at once, you're selling 20 individually at $3 a piece. So it's just more work. I did a Whatnot show last week as part of the Paper Palooza event over in the ephemera category, and I did okay, but it's just it's not. Things don't go for near what they used to, and I don't. We've talked before about some of the reasons why. I think there's a lot of reasons why Whatnot's, average sellers are struggling. I know there's still a ton of people on there who do really well, but it tends to be bigger. And they had John Cena on there selling stuff the other night. Somebody put, why did they put somebody you can't see on Whatnot?
But it really has to be something where you have like an unlimited resource too, right? And that you just are fine moving it or not moving it. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting here thinking, in my money piles of things that I know I have quite a few of, especially the hats. You could just, pop those things together and just stick them in there and let them go.
Yeah, and we listed them like free shipping. You can charge for shipping as if you want, but we just listed them all as free shipping and added $10 to the price because they're 2-3 pound boxes.
Right.
So just added some money to it. But it's honestly the lots that we've been putting on this are the hats we accumulated for the purpose of selling on Whatnot.
Cool.
So are y'all doing anything in particular to get ready for quarter 4? Because it'll be here, in another month, right?
We just kind of slowed down on some like summer clothes, but because we do predominantly clothes, like we've pretty much stopped like buying shorts and stuff like that unless they're bolo items, and start focusing on like sweaters and jeans and stuff like that.
I've got a lot of inventory to list. I need to catch up on my listing, and I think that's going to carry me for a while, especially when I start, in the basketball season, night after night after night. I'm going to try my best to get a bunch on so I can hold them in my drafts, and then every day, put like 5 up. That'll make it a whole lot easier on me doing it that way, because I run into every week I'm working 4 or 5 nights a week, and that gets tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and depending on who you listen to, that's a good way to do it because it, feeds the algorithm, so to speak, on eBay. Where, I'm guilty of, I'll list 20 things one day and none the next sometime, and a lot of people say it's better to, list one thing a day over 20 days than it is to list 20 zero. But, I don't know. I seem to sell stuff regardless of how I do it. So I think the important thing is just to list when you can and, get as much listed as possible. It's not going to sell sitting in your garage. So
no. And just to keep me, on pace with what I'm trying to do and trying to get through, basketball season this time is to stay very consistent. 5, 5, 5, 5,
Yeah.
5,
Well,
that's just for me and my purposes,
Well, and that probably is more, it probably doesn't kill you to not list 1 or 2 days in a row, but yeah, if you're going to go weeks because you're busy like you're going to be, then it probably does make sense to try to schedule things to go live, so it doesn't look like your store's just gone completely dormant.
Right. Cool.
Wes, do you have enough stuff to like kind of get you through basketball season from like a listing standpoint? Yeah,
I do. Yeah, and I've been like a squirrel packing things away, and not a lot of big things though. You know, like I got a ton of hats. Those are easy. I've got some toys and things that I've just held off listing and hanging on because I know I'm kind of generally down the road to where I can just stay consistent because I get exhausted, between my regular job, leaving, going and reffing. Of course, I sign up for it, but just to keep things moving at a steady pace and I'm basically holding myself accountable.
Yeah, that's it's a lot. Like, obviously Stewart doesn't understand what it's like to have a real job and then have to do things, but it's a lot, man.
He can just traipse off across the country and just, just do whatever. See the snow-capped mountains in August,
I'll tell you, like having been on, like being off this week from work and like spending yesterday and today, like we sourced yesterday, we went to the bins today. We've just been listing all this stuff it's a nice little life. I had some coffee, I sat and had lunch. Like there's something to this, Stewart.
Well, here's what happens for me in the summer. I start thinking, you know what? I'm going to be real good at retirement. I get into these little patterns and I'm like, this is going to be just fine with me. Because my wife and I, every Friday we were going to estate sales and just, getting some coffee and donuts and just, it's going to be nice. Hopefully.
No wonder he looks so young with his hat on backwards. He's got no stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the listing every day versus, listing a bunch and then none. I'm just, if any of the people watching want to drop in the comments what they do, I'd be curious to see like what's kind of the prevailing opinion on what's the best way to do it. Because like I said, I'm guilty about, I'll go for a couple of days and then I might have, days where I'm focusing on the booth more and I don't list anything online. And of course you don't know what you don't know. I don't feel like it hurts my sales, but who knows? Maybe if I was scheduling things to list out on those days I miss. It's like I don't have anything scheduled to list this weekend, and I'll be gone from tomorrow till Sunday. So, what is that? 4 days I won't list anything. So, yeah, just curious what the audience thinks is the best way to do that and how you handle it.
Well, you can sit here and beat yourself up on the algorithm, and I have done that before. But it's just like our podcast. I told you I'm committed this year, and I'm gonna do it. I have a schedule. We have a schedule. We have a thing that we do, and I work a lot better under a schedule. And for me to hold myself accountable for those 5 every day, that means I've got to be backlisting them like on a weekend, so I can be ready to pop those every single day. 5. So
I feel like even worst case, if you delist and relist, like one of the things that like I've noticed. Like even when we are working with custom SKUs and changing prices and stuff, it's not so much, at least my theory, and I know everyone's got different theories. It's not so much that you're like listing, but it's like you're being active on the platform daily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, relist to delist is another one of those that people are really split about. You'll have some people who swear by it, and then other people who say that, no, it's more important to, have good descriptions, pictures to begin with, and spend that time you'd spend relisting, delisting, listing new things. So, I've never been a big relister, delister, other than on Facebook Marketplace because you have to. It kind of forces you to refresh your listings. But, I sell a lot of stuff on eBay that I've had sitting out there for a pretty good while. So, I don't know. That's another one that'd be interesting to see what the viewers think, and whether I know there's a lot of people are adamant that you have to do that, but then I have heard other people. There's a guy I can't remember his name. It's Ken something. He runs like an SEO institute. Mm-hmm. And he has some. They're very technical. They're interesting, but they're kind of hard to listen to, I think. But because he gets real technical, but he says relist delist doesn't really do anything. That in fact that it can hurt you because when you delist, you're losing all the watchers and views and everything you had on that. So I don't know. I don't claim to know one way or the other. I just know that it's one of those in the reselling world. It's one of those very polarizing topics that people talk about.
I will say we delist and relist less since we've used the Vendu, like the cross listing platform. Yeah. We love Vendu, but it's very slow. Like delist and relist on Vendu, and I'm not sure how List Perfectly is, but you can select 10 items at a time and then hit delist, relist. But it's going to sound like a first world problem, but it takes like 8 minutes for that to happen, like to go through. And back in the day when I used to just go on eBay, you could literally end listings, sell, I could cruise through them.
Yeah.
And I could do 100 in a half hour.
Well, and once you start using a cross-posting software, I'm sure Vendu's just like List Perfectly in that if you just do it in eBay, you lose that link. So then like your auto delist and things like that aren't going to work, which...
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, List Perfectly is kind of the same way. I mean, they have this link feature that I guess the extension in the browser causes this either copied or link button to show up, like actually in eBay, in Etsy. So you can quickly see if there's anything that's lost their link and you just click the button that links it back.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you're right, though. Once you start using the cross-posting, relist delist goes from a simple just one platform thing to if you're going to do it on every platform. And I personally just think that for me anyway, that it's time better spent to list the 20 things I've got in my garage that I got yesterday versus spending a couple hours relisting delisting. So yeah. But
do either of you all have any drafts right now currently that you're ready to list?
No, I don't know that I've ever created a draft intentionally in eBay. Like if I look at my drafts, I've got a bunch, but it's where my computer's frozen or, whatever. But, I probably have a bunch of drafts, but it's all stuff that's actually listed on eBay or sold or whatever. So,
well, back in June, I had 25 drafts on there, and I put 5 up every day because it was kind of like a test run for me. So I have done it already. It's different because you're sitting there, you want to throw them up, you're like, but I mean, they've been sitting in my death pile anyway, or my money mountain. So,
well, I'll tell you, like we said earlier, there's a lot of people who swear by consistent listing and having that bank of drafts. And it's not, it's in your case, it's because you're busy at work, but some people keep them out there in case they get sick or just, whatever life happens and you don't have time to list. And, they talk about having a bank of things, saying whether that's, you're only an eBay seller and you have your bank and drafts, or you use Vendu or List Perfectly and you have a bank of listings that you've put into the Vendu catalog, put into the List Perfectly catalog, and then you just wait to, push those out at a later date. But I can see there's valid arguments for doing that. I've never done it.
But Wes, I'll tell you, we've got, we probably have 250 hats downstairs. And I went through and photographed like 50 of them in like 45 minutes the other day. So like my phone, I just have a whole bank of like 50 hats that are in there, and just hats are so easy to list because most of them they're already out, like someone else is selling it, right? So it's just sell similar, add your pictures and move on. So even if you could just knock out, take a day and an hour, really, you could easily photograph 50 plus hats and you got all those listings.
Right, for sure. And that is my goal, because I've got one complete container full of hats, and I've probably got about 40% of them listed, but the other ones are just sitting there waiting on me, kind of like the Beanie Babies.
Yeah. Well, Lizzie was laughing the other day because I was like, "Hey, I just took photographs of 50 hats, and she's like, I wish I had something that I could just like burn through 50 of. So it's nice when you need listings to have like that simple stuff like that,
Yeah. Here, Johnny, I want to go ahead and show you this symbol yet again. There you
go. I don't get it.
That's a symbol of steel. Steel.
It's literally the steel logo. They stole it.
You know how last week on the episode we mentioned that y'all are all that stood between Rosie and I getting ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went and the ice cream store was closed.
So did we keep you preemptively from getting there? Or?
Apparently they had just didn't open that day. Luckily, there was a grocery store right next door, so we just went in there and got like little individual cups of ice cream, but it's not the same.
Put it in their review.
Well, to be fair, though, Stewart, we did give you an opportunity to step on out, and we were just going to keep going. If you remember that.
Yeah, have y'all watched any past episodes of this podcast? Do you think I'm going to leave y'all alone without me in the room?
Johnny just doesn't trust us or something. I don't know what
I'm offended.
I'm completely offended.
Earned.
Stewart, what was your daughter's feedback to having to sit listening to us for an hour?
For sure.
I think she enjoyed being on the show, and I think she was going to watch. I actually just dropped her and one of my other daughters off at the airport right before this show. They were headed to Houston to see their nephew, my grandson, and Rosie was going to watch it on the plane, I think. So I'll get some feedback from her. But yeah, she enjoyed being on the show, and I've got 3 more kids we can roll through on the show, and
that we're aware of, actually. It's like Johnny said. He's sitting there counting last week. He said, how many kids you got?
That's how Stewart gives them birthday gifts now. Okay, for your birthday, you can be on my podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Well, she did, Stewart. I was impressed with her. She's a very well spoken young lady, and I know you're proud of her. But yeah, she's got quite the humor too. She said, "I've been 5 days with my dad," and we said we're sorry, and she said, "Yeah, me too."
And
thanks to David too.
Who was impressed by Rosie last week. She is looking for a job, so get in touch with her. She can give you a resume.
Yeah. And thanks to David for joining too. That was cool of him to make some time. I know he appreciates it. We appreciate him.
Yeah, so David, we're going to have Rosie and David fighting over who gets the credit for being our number one episode to that point.
No, David's always, like you said, Johnny, he's always commenting and watching
we
our
appreciate
videos. And we really do. He's trying to uplift us too, and we appreciate his support in that way for sure. And he's always willing to come in whenever we need him. But to have 2 special guests last week. That was neat.
Another future strategy for the podcast could be to have more celebrity sound-alike names. We could find, we can find a Tiger Woods out there somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
This is when we really need an old school phone book. And you're just you're like Monroe. There's got to be a Maryland in here.
Got to be. All right, so our thing this week, if you go yard selling, look for an old school phone book, and here we go.
There it is. We're just going to start working the phone lines. Yeah. I remember, do you guys know who Jim Rome is?
Yeah.
Yes.
The sports radio
talk
guy?
Show, yeah.
So this was probably, it's probably like 15 years ago or whatever. He had like 3 straight days where he had someone named Rex on. And it just hit him. That was like, what are the odds of talking to a Rex 3 days in a row? So then the whole point of a show was to see how many days in a row he could go talking to somebody named Rex. And it literally went on for like a month, and then they couldn't find anybody else named Rex to be on the show.
We should start a name. Just pick any arbitrary name. Say, all right, if you want to be on the show, give us a holler.
So now, if you also have the name of a famous celebrity, we'll see how many shows in a row we can go.
But wasn't Jim Rome's buddy? Wasn't it Jim Everett? That used to be the.
Well, that wasn't his buddy. That was
they got in a fight, didn't they?
That's a loose term. His buddy. Yeah, they got in a fight on the show. Yeah, I remember that interview.
Because he was like, check that, Chris, and then.
Yeah, he kept calling him Chris.
Yeah.
Chris Everett.
So we'll just book. So guys, in the comments, if you know somebody who has the same name of a famous celebrity, we're bringing them on the show.
We're going to bring them on. So David Beckham is check mark. We got that one done.
Check. That'd be amazing. So Stewart, what is your goal for the Gatlinburg event?
There's not really one for this. I mean, it's not, I guess, a learning event per se. I mean, I think it'll just be fun to hang out with other like-minded people. And like I said, maybe we can, do an impromptu episode of the podcast or, I don't know that there's even going to be a lot of reselling talk or if it's just going to be kind of sitting around enjoying each other's company. So we'll see how it goes. It should be fun though. It'll be a chance to meet some people that I haven't met before, and spend some time with some other people who are on YouTube. And
so you go is it like Friday to Sunday then?
Thursday to Sunday. So
Thursday to Sunday.
Actually leaving tomorrow. So I guess by the time this airs, I will have already been there. But yeah, it's, I think there's five couples staying in the chalet, but I think there's some other people coming who are just, staying in hotels or whatever. And I know like Friday, I think there might be one group who's going to go to Dollywood, and I know they had talked about maybe doing some thrifting on Saturday together. So just kind of go with the flow. I'm just looking forward to a nice, relaxing weekend and just enjoying being with, other resellers. So,
and our buddies over at Consignment Chats will be there, right?
Yeah, Molly's kind of the one who organized it. And so I know Molly and her husband, Nick, will be there. I'm not sure about Libby and Samantha. So I assume they'll be there, but I don't know that I've officially heard. We stayed with them when we did one of the yard sales. I can't remember whichever, the one in North Carolina and Virginia last year. I hate it. I did not make it to the 127 this year. I was planning to go, but then that was the day before I left to fly out to Washington State. So I ended up just not having time to make it over there.
Stewart, does that go, is it through Saturday or is it through Sunday? Do you know?
What are you talking about?
The 127.
It's always, officially it's a Friday to Sunday, but I've been told that you can show up even the prior weekend and there's already people set up. And in fact, somebody said it's best to go like Wednesday, Thursday of that week. And
that's hard for me to get over there. Then I'm in school. I'm back in school.
What
we should do next year though, is just go ahead and set it up and let's all at least go over there on a Saturday.
Yeah, maybe we can plan to do that, three of us. And there's others too we can hit, but the 127 is, self-proclaimed world's longest. What does it go from like Michigan to Alabama, I think. Mm-hmm. It started in Huntsville, Alabama, and then just kind of expanded northward from there.
I always just wanted to go and find those real country people that just have all this vintage stuff, all the stuff you see on TV.
Right.
Because I know when we went to whatever one was in North Carolina, we didn't find anything, and we bailed on it.
Well, I know from
you got to know where to go.
Going last year to the 127, I mean, me and the guy I went with, we came home with the whole carload of stuff. But, really the secret was to watch for just the regular yard sale signs and head down the back roads.
And get off the beaten path, yeah.
Yeah, and because pretty much everybody and their brother, I think, has a yard sale in conjunction with that. Because on the main road, you mainly have the you do go through some sections where it's just houses and those people are having yard sales, but there's a lot of fields with just people basically have bought their antique mall out there and set it up under a tent. And it's,
well, we've got a year to get it together. So anybody wants to come and join us down there at the 127, we could have like a meetup.
Well, I know there's kind of it's usually kind of a who's who of the reselling community that come to the 127. I think more than any of the other like kind of those kind of events. I know I see a lot of if you search 127 yard sale or world's longest yard sale on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of videos from a bunch of different people.
Well, Wes, by next year you'll be a full-time reseller, so you won't even have to worry about school being in.
Yeah. Not hardly. Not hardly, my friend. Did you like my license plate video? The short?
Yeah, man, that was nice of you. That was cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I'm glad I didn't send it to your P.O. box.
Well, I was still got it for probably another 8 months because when I canceled it, they just forwarded it on to me.
Oh, gotcha. Because I was gonna send it and just have it show up to you, and I was like, God, if he doesn't have that PO box anymore, and it just
you can get them to forward it. A year after you cancel it, they'll forward everything.
Yeah, because we've thought about getting them just for returns and stuff like that. Not that we're at any level where it matters if people have our address, but I feel like the more we get out there, that maybe we shouldn't have our address out there.
Although if people get it just for that, really in today's world, you can find anybody's address. If you think you're not going to have somebody find your address because you have a PO box or a box at an UPS or FedEx store or something, then that's you're kidding yourself there. But we do it because being full time, I think it makes you look a little bigger than you are just because, it shows up as a suite number rather than a PO box when you have a UPS one. And then also just on the occasions we do have returns, they notify me when it shows up and I don't like to worry about it sitting on the porch if I'm out of town or something. And we can have stuff shipped there too but it is it's about $300 a year, so it's, when you break it down by month, it's not that much, but it's definitely more expensive than having one at the post office. But there are some benefits that you can get, shipments from more than just the post office. So,
well, I just prepaid mine on the front end yearly.
Well, that's what I do too. I do prepay it, but it's definitely more expensive to get one at the UPS store. But there are some benefits.
Sure. I'm not sure how many Goodwills and stuff are up there in Gatlinburg. Are you?
There's a few. And then I really don't know what the plan will be. There are a few thrift shops in Sevierville and Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. The question will be how bad traffic is. Now, I know last week my daughter and Amy went to Dollywood last Sunday. There was nobody there. They said. They literally rode every ride in the park. Just
Well, didn't half the park just wash away in the flood?
It all survived, but I guess you're in that time right now between summer and fall when school started in a lot of places, so you just don't have the crowds. I know once fall gets here, it probably picks back up some.
Well, in October you'll have fall breakers return back, and then that pretty much, and then you're on over into Christmas. People want to come to see the lights and things, but Johnny, I encourage you, if you can get over to Dollywood at some point, do it. I think it'd be
I'll
a neat trip for you.
I'll add it to the list for sure.
Yeah, just let us know if you ever want to come, because we have the season passes, and we might. We probably don't have any bring a friend passes left because with the kids and their significant others, we usually use all those. But
I guess Johnny, you're not a friend then.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
I'll be an honorary child next year. So next year,
Daddy, can we get some ice cream? No, it's closed. We're going to the store together.
See, Rosie was too polite. I would have been like, and we're going to get ice cream.
Well, of course, it turned out it was closed anyway. So,
Yeah, but Stewart, she seems to be like a sweet kid. You raised a good one. She's a sweet young lady.
I always say that, we have 4 kids, and they're 28 down to 23, and Rosie and Abby, my oldest and youngest, have the same birthday. So there's exactly 5 years to the day between them. So it seemed like a good place to, stop. But,
Right.
seems I recall telling Amy, but it seems like mainly with Rosie, because we got the 4th one. I may have said it with Tanner too, our 3rd one. I said the odds, when you have more kids, the odds of having a bad apple start going up. And we've been very fortunate that all 4 of them turned out really good. And, the reality is no matter what you do in raising your kids, ultimately they got to make their own decisions, and you can give them the tools. But, there's lots of examples, I think, of kids who were raised perfectly who turn out to not be so great, and kids who were in terrible environments who turn out to be good. So, I just feel real fortunate we ended up with 4 who, are all good kids. So
good deal.
Stewart, what is the date they share?
July 9th. So
what goes on?
He's trying to count back 9 months.
What is that? November? What goes on in early November? That
September, October, maybe.
Of course, you sit there and think about, we had 4 kids, within exactly 5 years, and just the logistics of when you found time it's kind of like, how did we do that? So
I'm trying to finish up the packaging. Okay, I'm trying to finish up the packaging. I'll be up there in a minute.
Yeah.
All kids are 9 months after Stewart's birthday. It's just weird timing.
I'm a June birthday, so they were definitely not 9 months after my birthday.
You can see Johnny going, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Well.
But remember, it's actually there. A woman is pregnant for 10 months, actually. So, boom, that just happened.
So we move into our new antique mall space. We've already started moving, but we should be going live there either last week of August or first week of September. So I was out there this week hanging pegboard, getting ready. And,
nice.
Of course, it's not a construction project till somebody about cuts their finger off.
Oh, no.
I was sawing some... So, with the pegboard, you had to put the fairing strips behind it, which are just basically 1x2 pieces of wood. And, so I had them all cut into 4-foot sections, but, when you butt them up against the other ones, you end up with some on the extra that you got to cut off. So I'd cut about 8 of them, and it's the very last one. And, I was probably tired or whatever, but the saw slipped a little bit and, went right through my finger. And of course, at least it was a clean saw that I'd just gotten out of somebody's booth. It was like an old antique.
When's the last time you had a tetanus shot?
Dusty booth. And
when's the last time you had a tetanus shot, Stewart?
Well, I've had one. I have had a booster within the last 5 or 6 years, so hopefully I'll be okay. I did have, fortunately, the girl working down the street at the current location, she's an ER nurse. So I just went down there and let her look at it. And because the guy who was with me, he was like kind of freaking out. You need to go to the walk-in, you need stitches. Cause I was like, well, let me let it just see if I can get it to stop bleeding, rinse it out. And then I went down there and she's like, well, you can go to the walk-in clinic, but she goes, depending on the doctor you get, they might glue it. She said it's, there's not enough room to probably put stitches in. She said I would just, keep pressure on it, then wrap it with put some Neosporin on it. And so that's what I did.
That makes me hurt.
Yeah, it was, of course, you realize now why humans are, the opposable thumb so important.
Especially when you're now hanging out like this going, yeah. So, Stewart, in your booth, are you going to drop any hint of Finders Flippers Resell podcast in there?
Well, I do have all my booths have a little QR code that people, when they scan it, it goes to my website, and it does have the Finders Flippers Resell podcast as one of the links off my website. Basically create a QR code. There's Bitly does it. There's any number that you can create a QR code and then stick it on a business card or print it out or do whatever. And
So, Johnny, what's the goal going up to? Where'd you say you're going to Chicago?
Yeah, to Chicago.
What are you doing up there?
My buddy's wife is due in October, so this is his last chance to
Be free from you're changing the
yeah. So we used to go to Chicago every summer, actually every Labor Day, just for like a little boys trip. So this is one last trip to Chicago before he's locked down on daddy duty for a while.
Gotcha.
Should we start every week doing a status update of our where we stand on our road to 17-cent checks? I was just looking. So as of today, we're at 131 subscribers out of the 500 we need. So
we're at 131. So we picked up 3 today.
Yeah, I was going to say we were at 128.
We said at 128 forever. You know,
we got up to 129, then we dropped one and sat at 128 for a day or two. And yeah, we've gone up to 131. So just, a couple more to get to the 500 requirement there. So appreciate everybody who subscribed to us. And if you're watching for the first time, we'd appreciate you going and clicking the subscribe button. We do qualify on the video uploads. We've done 3 video uploads in the last 90 days. So we've hit one of the 3 requirements. So we're well on our way. We have 340 watch hours out of the 3,000 required. So
got to get that up a little bit.
Well, you do one of the following. So we've got 340 out of 3,000, or you can have 3 million shorts views, and we've got 5.3 thousand. We got 5,300 basically short views. So
it's a toss.
Yeah, we're
either one.
We're like right on the cusp.
Yeah.
I do feel like our first check, we should probably send all 17 cents to Popeye because we did have our biggest jump in subscribers when we had. Hey, Johnny, if you create, I know you had, you mentioned last week you jumped our subscriber count up by creating, 5 or 6 new accounts. If you create 400 or so more fake accounts, you can get us to that 500.
That's my new goal.
Yeah,
on the plane trip there, you got what, hour and a half or so? You could
a couple hours for sure.
Yeah, you could pop in several accounts on the way. Of course, you have to go back and you'll have tab after tab after tab all the way across the top of your computer.
I like when
Frizzy finds 1 through Frizzy finds 500 on Yahoo or Gmail. So
that's what I was gonna say. We can give we can go into the dashboard and give shout outs to our subscribers, and it'll be Johnny 1, Johnny 2, Johnny 3, Johnny 4.
Frizzy finds 349 at gmail.com.
Well, I will say this, Johnny. Shout out to you, my friend, on the thumbnails that you're creating. You are really starting to hit it out of the park. So you had us in a dolly wig and several other things. So
yeah, we were cruising across America.
Falls. We've been in a convertible.
So
it's a beautiful thing.
Kudos to you, my friend. Very creative.
And I've already brainstormed our next one, so I'm excited.
Look at that. Creativity never ceases.
It's because I'm not working this week. My brain is just free.
He's free to create.
Man.
Last week, this podcast was the only thing between Rosie and me and ice cream. This week, it's the only thing between Amy and me eating Mexican food. So,
you better get to it. You better.
What is your go-to Mexican dish that you like?
It just depends. We split the molcajete a lot. That's the thing that comes in that volcano looking bowl, the stone bowl, or I don't know, just kind of whatever I feel like. Usually it's, the menus are so big, so you're sitting there looking through them, and usually when the waiter comes, it's just like whatever you happen to be looking at the time they ask you what you want.
Johnny, safe travels to you, my friend, on your way to Chicago. That is all the time that we have this evening on the Finder Slippers Resell podcast. Again, gentlemen, another great episode tonight. Let's keep rolling with our friends that are subscribing to us. Again, thank you all for doing that. You keep us motivated.
Yeah, and a special shout out to the 19 to 25-year-old demographic that I think was a big part of the success of our last video. So
yeah, definitely share this with your parents. They'll probably enjoy it more going forward.
Sure. And again, another shout out to David and Rosie for joining us last week on the podcast. We appreciate you guys as well.
And don't we have a special secret guest coming up here in a
2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks. We'll do the full-blown reveal next week, but 2 weeks. I'm excited about this one. We're swinging big, guys. We're swinging big.
Swinging big.
This isn't just a sound alike. This is actually a special guest, right?
It's just going to be me, but I'm going to just put a mask on or something.
Nope. Looking forward to
Hold right there, Johnny. Scoot over just a little bit again. Let me see. No, Frizzy's not back there tonight. Okay. All right.
She's too afraid now. But you can see that's the Goodwill bag. This is all the Goodwill bin stuff from yesterday that needs to get posted. So work to do. Work to do.
Never not working.
Never not.
All right, gentlemen, you all have a great evening, and we will talk next week.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.
See you guys.